You know, something that often comes up is how differently people approach Hanuman. It's quite striking. Some are really drawn to, say, the Bajrang Baan, that potent energy, maybe even reciting it daily.
Right.
While others find this deep sense of peace in the Hanuman Chalisa, it makes you wonder, you know, what's the most powerful way for you personally to connect?
That's exactly the question, isn't it? And that's what we're digging into in this deep dive. We'll be looking at Hanuman's significance through, well, different devotional texts and also what devotees experience.
Okay.
And our main source material here is from a speaking tree discussion with Rangoli Sharma and the spiritual teacher, Ishaan Mahesh. Some really insightful stuff there.
Sounds great. So the plan is to kind of pull out the key ideas about Hanuman, what he represents, how we might feel his presence, and the power behind these different prayers or chants.
Exactly. Trying to get those aha moments, but, you know, without making it feel too heavy.
Perfect. So let's start right at the beginning then. The fundamental question, who is Hanuman?
Well, Ishaan Mahesh's perspective is quite profound. He calls Hanuman a Virat Urja.
Virat Urja. Okay, like a cosmic energy.
Precisely. A vast cosmic energy that's fundamentally involved in keeping the universe sort of in balance, in equilibrium.
Okay, a cosmic balancer. And how does that connect with that phrase we hear, Dusht Dalan Raghunath Kalaki, the idea of handling negativity?
Ah, right. That speaks to the mastery Hanuman learned directly from Lord Rama. The art, the kala of controlling, disciplining the wicked, the dushtas.
Okay.
It's all about protecting the earth's beauty, its harmony. So it's tied into that core function of maintaining balance.
So it's not just about like fighting specific demons, but an ongoing cosmic role. And this energy, this Virat Urja, has it always been around? Is it constant?
Mahesh really emphasizes that, yeah. Hanuman's eternal presence. He says Hanuman manifests in, well, every age, from the Mahabharata era right up to now.
Oh.
Always working to maintain that equilibrium, especially, he notes, within India. He even points to things like the 6 seasons in India, the diverse landscapes, as almost tangible proof of this balanced energy that Hanuman embodies and helps sustain.
That's an incredible way to think about it. Hanuman almost like orchestrating the natural cycles. So if he's this pervasive energy, how do we connect? Where does Hanuman actually reside?
Well, the key, according to Mahesh, is in that beautiful line, Yatra Raghunath Kirtana.
Right, I know that one. Wherever Rama is praised.
Exactly. Hanuman himself says he resides wherever the stories, the praises of Lord Rama are sung with real devotion. His energy, that Virat Urja, it actively manifests when you try to become Rama.
Rama, meaning like immersed in Rama.
Yeah, deeply immersed in the consciousness, the ideals of Rama. So the insight here is that Hanuman isn't really tied to a physical spot. His presence is a direct result of your devotion to Rama. It's a vibrational thing, activated by your praise.
So less about geography, more about resonance. That makes a lot of sense, actually. But then how do you know? How can you tell if you're genuinely feeling his blessings? Are there signs?
Mahesh talks about this. He says, while the specific signs might vary a bit person to person,
Okay.
there's a kind of universal indication, and that's a deep inner stillness. He uses the word thereof.
Thereof, stillness.
Yeah, profound stillness, a real sense of joy that seems to bubble up from inside, and even like an inner dance, a feeling of lightness being uplifted.
An inner dance. I like that description. It suggests a joy that isn't just about what's happening outside, but something deeper.
Exactly that. And it also comes with a sense of detachment, you know, not being totally caught up in worldly problems, an acceptance of life's challenges, but maintaining that core inner peace. And he draws a really important contrast here. He says you could be chanting, you know, doing the recitations, but if your mind is still just churning with worries,
Right. Distracted.
then that essential peace, that real sign of Hanuman's grace, it just won't be there. It's
Yeah.
about the quality of the devotion.
So the sincerity, the focus, that's what really counts, not just saying the words. Okay. That really resonates. So let's talk about those words then. The Sundar Kand, Hanuman Chalisa, Bajrang Baan. What's the unique power of each?
Well, the Sundar Kand and the Hanuman Chalisa, they're described as having this divine quality that awakens our inner energy. Mahesh specifically says they connect directly with the heart of the common person.
They feel accessible, relatable.
Yeah, exactly. You hear them often, they feel familiar, like you said.
Now, the Bajrang Baan, that feels different, doesn't it? People talk about it being incredibly powerful.
It is, yes. And it's generally thought of as being for, let's say, special or even critical circumstances.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, partly because it uses what are called Shabbar mantras. These are seen as very potent, very direct kinds of invocations, often used when you need like immediate strong intervention.
Right.
And there's definitely discussion about whether it's appropriate for, say, daily recitation. Mahesh points out that Tulsidas actually composed it when he himself was in a major crisis. And invoking Hanuman that way, well, it probably required the kind of spiritual consciousness Tulsidas had achieved. It's a powerful undertaking.
So, not something to approach lightly. It carries a very specific, intense charge. How do the Chalisa and Sundar Kand fit in comparison, then?
Mahesh uses a lovely analogy for the Hanuman Chalisa. He compares it to taking a spiritual bath.
Spiritual bath.
Okay, yeah. Its verses help purify the mind, cleanse away negativity, and kind of prepare you for deeper devotion. And he stresses that understanding the meaning is really key for that purification to work.
So it prepares the ground.
Yeah, exactly. He sees it as like a necessary first step, the foundation you need before you really engage with something like the Sundar Kand.
Okay, the Chalisa cleanses and prepares. And the Sundar Kand, what's its role?
The Sundar Kand is presented more as like witnessing something profound. It tells the story of Hanuman's incredibly difficult journey to Lanka, facing huge obstacles.
Right, very challenging mission.
And if you think about your own life, the challenges you face, it mirrors that struggle. Mahesh actually mentions his own spiritual novel, Siya Sudlaya, which he describes as trying to be like a live recording of the Sundar Kand events.
To make it vivid.
Yeah, to give a really fresh, deep understanding. The idea is that by really immersing yourself in the Sundar Kand, you can get this completely new perspective on Hanuman's strength, his unwavering devotion. A bit like how Arjuna suddenly saw Krishna's true cosmic form.
Ah, okay. So Chalisa purifies, Sundar inspires through example and deepens understanding. But fundamentally, is the energy the same in all of them?
Absolutely. Mahesh is clear on this. All three, Chalisa, Sundar Kand, Bajrang Baan, they all contain Hanuman's essential energy.
Okay.
The choice of which one to focus on often just comes down to your personal connection, maybe where you are inwardly at that moment. He uses that sweet analogy, like different Indian sweets, Rasgulla, Barfi, Jalebi, they're all sweet, right? The essence is sweetness. But people have their preferences.
That's a great way to put it. Different flavors of the same divine energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, something else that comes up a lot is Hanuman's connection to Lord Shiva. He's called a Rudra avatar. What does that mean exactly?
Right. So while we see Mangal Murti, Hanuman's form, and Nilkanth, Shiva's form, as distinct, Mahesh explains they're really different expressions of the same core essence. Both are constantly working for the world's welfare by absorbing negativity, that idea of Vishpan, drinking the poison.
Like you said, absorbing negativity, kind of like a tree taking in CO2 and giving out oxygen.
Exactly like that, a selfless act, taking on the world's stuff for the greater good. And to show Hanuman's nature as Rudra, Mahesh tells this amazing story about Hanuman and Vali.
Oh, the wrestling match?
Yeah, but with a twist.
Yeah.
Even after Hanuman seemingly wins, he shows total respect, zero ego. Mahesh suggests Vali might have even let Hanuman win out of respect. And it was Vali himself who then called Hanuman Mahavir.
Wow. Okay, that completely changes how you might see Hanuman's strength. It's not just power, but this incredible humility, too.
That humility is key, yes. And it connects directly to Shiva's own simplicity, right? No fancy ornaments, just focused on Rama. Both Shiva and Hanuman embody that deep simplicity, that ease, sahashta, saralta. And you can't forget how interconnected Shiva and Rama are. Shiva meditates on Rama. Rama says if you disrespect Shiva, you're not really devoted to him. And both Shiva and Rama reside right there in Hanuman's heart.
It's all woven together, these immense energies in harmony. Okay, changing gears slightly. We often hear about devotees facing real struggles, tough times on their spiritual path. Why is seeking this connection sometimes so difficult? Why the suffering?
Mahesh offers a really potent analogy here. Think about trying to meet, say, the president or a very high official.
Okay, lots of security.
Exactly, intense security checks, right?
Yeah.
Because the access is so high level. He says spiritual progress is similar. It requires this rigorous inner purification. And suffering, well, it often plays a role in breaking down our ego.
Ah, the ego getting in the way.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's when we get to that point of complete surrender, that feeling of I am nothing, really realizing our limitations, that the divine has space to truly manifest.
So the difficulties kind of strip away the ego, making room.
That's the idea. He uses the image of gold being purified in fire.
Right, burning off the impurities.
Precisely, to get the pure gold. He also tells that incredibly moving story of Draupadi and Krishna during her disrobing. Krishna only appears at the very last moment, when she has totally given up trying to save herself and just raises her hands in complete helplessness. That gesture, raising the hands, becomes this powerful symbol of ultimate surrender.
That image, wow. It really drives home the need to let go.
Yeah. And he also uses the metaphor of a veil, a parda, separating us from the divine.
Okay.
And true devotion, which he describes as decorating the soul with innocence and simplicity, that's what eventually causes the veil to lift.
So decorating the soul,
Yeah,
inner work.
exactly. All right, so if we try and summarize what we've covered, we've seen Hanuman as this balancing cosmic energy, this Virat Urja, always present, working for harmony.
Right.
And his presence is felt most strongly wherever Rama is praised with sincere devotion, Yatra Yatra Raghunath Kirtana.
And the key sign of his grace.
That deep inner peace, that tharav, that inner joy, being detached from worldly worries even amidst challenges.
Okay. And the texts.
We looked at the distinct roles, the Hanuman Chalisa as that purifying spiritual bath,
Preparing the ground.
the Sundar Kand as witnessing Hanuman's strength and adversity, offering deeper understanding.
Right, like Arjuna's realization.
And the Bajrang Baan for those specific intense situations, carrying that potent Shabbar mantra energy, but all containing Hanuman's essence.
Like the different suites, all sweet.
Exactly. And finally, that deep link between Hanuman and Shiva, different expressions of the same selfless service, simplicity, absorbing negativity for the world, both dwelling in Hanuman's heart alongside Rama.
It's a really rich tapestry of ideas. Hopefully through this deep dive, everyone listening has maybe gained some fresh clarity, some inspiration about what Hanuman means in their own life.
Yeah, and perhaps it leads to a question for, personal reflection. Where am I on that path of surrender? How can I maybe cultivate more of that inner purity, that simple devotion day to day to feel Hanuman's presence more?
That's a powerful thought to leave with. Maybe even exploring something like Ishaan Mahesh's Siya Sudlaya could offer another layer of understanding, especially for the Sundar Kand.
It could indeed. These insights really feel like a gift drawn from the wisdom shared in our sources, almost like a blessing in themselves.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.